Hey guys! This summer I've been really enjoying painting in public spaces instead of just sketching. And I ended up painting this cool bird. It's like a red-eye vireo. And apparently it's known for making the most songs in a given day. Which I thought was kind of ironic that I've never consciously heard or seen this bird anywhere. And I'd wager that anyone in my city who is not deeply into bird watching doesn't even know it exists. I personally found that very relatable, and so I painted this bird with a bunch of little tin bells. The bells would represent that he is a creator of music. In fact, I enjoyed incorporating real-life elements, and so I decided to hand chain up a bunch of these tiny little bells, try to hammer them into the bottom of the frame. Anyone who is walking by can swish the little bells with their fingers and imagine that the wonderful sound that they're hearing is the bird's music. So if you're new here, I'll do a little tour, I guess. I realize now that I really need to repaint the wall. The best thing for my productivity has got to be the pegboard wall. This is just like a shelf that was hand built by someone. I can even make this tiny shelf put on there so I can hold things that don't hang really. And the precarious use of those to hold my paper rolls and stuff. There's usually a corner spider up there, but he had to go recently. I can't explain why he might have wanted to go. My broke-ass lamp. I have a fat stack of drawings up here to mail out to patrons. Nothing crazy, just cute little sketches and things. Books and palettes. I also have this additional light now, so that I can kind of bounce it off and get a little bit more even light that isn't shiny off of this shiny table. Stack of things I send off to dye. That's when I print something incorrectly and I'll throw it in here to use for collage. I wanted to use my pencil crayons more often, and so what I did is I built this little foam core shelf so that it would be just I just slip my trays in there. It's my studio, buddy. I did nothing here. IKEA, old stuff, full of stuff. Here's another foam core thing I made to customize the things that I have. Watercolor markers, these Crayola ones, way better than I expected. And that's kind of all that I cleaned up. Down here is pretty much exactly the same as it was. I just have these metal cubes that I sort of just strapped. Anyway, so now that I've cleaned it up, let's mess it up. Something came in the mail today. Sometimes I make pretty little necklaces, kind of like this one. These are really popular to use if you're just making little necklaces out of little collage pieces or whatever. But I like to make them with actual tiny pieces of art. They're going to be all sort of little unique pieces in addition to the normal ones. Just silver trays, heart-shaped. Here's a brass looking kind of one. They're meant to look antique. That's kind of cool. It's an explosion. Living in a concrete city, I'm becoming more sensitive to noise. Just traffic noise, landscaping noise, sirens, more abstract things like bad news, bad dreams. My cat and my nerves screaming at me. When I've had enough of this noise, I will retreat into busy work. I'll make all these little things because they don't demand a lot of deep thought. I can work and listen to a different noise, comforting, creative noise. I don't know what to paint today. I was trying to paint a tiny series of little rabbits and then got a migraine for the first time in years. When I've had enough of this noise, I visit with a friend. Sharing a physical space with another person is so grounding. She's more than a disembodied voice, or a floating head, or words on a screen. She's actually real. Here, there are no cats screaming at me through the night, no cars constantly zooming and honking, no planes roaring. It's just quiet. I decided to try painting my tiny pendants again in a cafe. And even though a cafe is noisy, it's noisy in the right way. People are speaking warmly here. A woman next to me is writing in her journal. I thought again of other people. And how funny it is to be afraid to reach out to people after too much time has passed. So being so close to the mountains where the mist gathers, I decided to make a tiny collection of wistful mountain paintings. And as I paint this, I wonder, how often have we accidentally crossed paths without knowing? Do you know that I'm thinking about you?